Okay, gang, let's try 41. So, let's see here. At what rate is the angle between the line and the water changing? Okay. They actually gave us a general graph. It's right there. So let me just draw that. All right, so let me just explain why that's the general. The height of the rod is always going to be 10 feet. As he reels in the whatever he's caught, this line will decrease. So this side changes with time. And if you notice, as he reels it in, the angle will open up wider. It'll look more like this after a while, like the triangle look like this, right? So that angle will then be here as he reels it in. Okay, so that's the idea. The angle will change and this side will change, but this side won't. The height of the rod won't change. All right, let's just go ahead and write the equation since we have that part. All right, anytime you have an angle, make sure you use trig. So let's see what we got. We got the opposite side of the angle and the hypotenuse side. So let's use sine. You can also use cosecant if you prefer that. Okay, opposite over hypotenuse. All right, let's go ahead with the derivative. Let me just rewrite this before we do the derivative. We're going to write this as 10x to the minus 1, right? You want to bring that up, you know. You don't want to use the quotient rule on that. I mean, you can, it's not wrong, but it's just a constant in the top. All right, let's do the derivative here. Derivative of sine is cosine. Derivative of theta is d theta dt. Derivative of the negative 1 is negative 10x to the negative 2. Derivative of the x is dx dt. Maybe let's just flip it back down for the moment and see what we need to do after that. So it's negative 10 dx dt over x squared. All right, that's sort of as far as I can go at the moment off the general. Now I've got to pick apart like what exactly what are the other parts we have and what are we looking for. All right, so at what rate is the angle? Okay, so we're looking for so the question is d theta dt. And when there's 25 feet of line from the end of the rod, all right, so that means that I'll just pull it in a little bit, assuming we've caught something. All right, they're saying when this is 25 feet, so we're now doing the specific. This is always 10. I don't know what theta is at the moment. All right, so they're specifying at a moment in time, this side will be 25 feet. The fish is reeled in at a rate of 1 foot per second. All right, so that's this side, so that refers to your x, the rate of your x. Now, when they say 1 foot per second, you have to figure out, is that positive or negative? So that's going to be negative because this side is shrinking with time. Okay, so make sure you have a negative on the 1 foot per second. From a point. Okay, I guess that's everything. So we do know that we want d theta dt. So I'm going to go ahead now and isolate that. So I just move the cosine to the other side. All right, good. So now we have isolated what we want. Now we can go ahead and plug in. Make sure you plug in off of the specific. All right, dx dt we found was -1. X squared, that would be off of the specific. So that's your 25. Quantity squared. Now don't let the trig knock you off. You just need the cosine of that angle. Alright, so here's the angle. The cosine would be the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So you can either find the angle first and then do cosine of that angle, or you can find the third side and then do the adjacent over the hypotenuse. It's really up to you. So I think I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem to find the third side, and then I'll do the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay, so that's how I'm doing it. Doesn't have to be how you're doing it. Alright, so we have the hypotenuse. Okay, so let me just make a little side work here. This is the side I don't know. Let me just call it A for the moment. So A squared plus 10 squared equals 25 squared. A squared plus 100 equals, my brain, 625. Is my brain working? 25 squared. 625. Then we're going to subtract 525. Alright, so that's the square root of 525. How many 25s do we have in there? That's 2 21 25s. 21 25s. The 25 comes out as a 5, 5, 21. Alright, that's not a nice number. I'm just gonna go ahead and approximate it. Okay, square root of, no, square root of 525, 22.9. Okay, it's about 22.9 feet. Alright, that's what I'm gonna use when I do the cosine. Alright, so now when I do the cosine, I'm going to use that side, because the cosine will be the adjacent, which is 22.9, over the hypotenuse, which is 25, because that's what the cosine of this angle would be. Alright gang, so we're about there. Let me just simplify this a tiny bit. That's positive 10 over 625 times 22.9 over 25. You could reduce this a little bit if you want. Okay, so 10. Yeah, maybe I will. So we'll do. We'll like reduce this to 25. It just makes that a little better. All right, I'm gonna have to go to the next page. So I've got 10 over 25 over 25 times 22.9. 5 into each of those. Alright, so now I've got 2. It just depends how far you want to simplify before you put it in your calculator. So again, I always tell the students, do what you're most comfortable with, because it's your test. You know, in the best way that you learn. Alright gang, so this is a theta is equal to d theta dt is equal to, what? Let's round that to like 0.017. Alright, now remember, when you do these problems, it has to be in radians, because again, that's considered unitless. It's radians per, let's get the time right, looking at the other parts, radians per second. Degrees is not considered unitless. Alright gang, that's it on that one. I hope I helped. Catch you. Bye-bye.